welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be going over recommendations and reading based on my favorite songs. Okay, so originally the idea was that I would be reading books that feel like my favorite songs, but the more that I was looking for books to read, the more I started to be like, wait a second, I think I should do recommendations based on my favorite songs because sometimes the vibe you get going into a book feels different than the vibe you get from just actually reading it. But then I realized why not both? Why not just a little bit of both? Also because it was really difficult to find books that matched. I picked 20 songs originally. Originally it was 3 because I was going to be reading them. And then I picked 20 to recommend, and then I could barely find 10. So then I was like, okay, I feel like I need to do something to make this video more than just 8 minutes of me talking and then being done. So that's what we got here. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It's going to be a week-long reading vlog. So today is Sunday, the 1st of February, and I'm hoping to get this done by Sunday, the 8th. Give myself the full 7 days. So first I'll go over my recommendations based on some of my favorite songs. Going to be a lot of Taylor Swift, I'll be honest. I'm pretty sure we have one Sabrina Carpenter and I think an Olivia Rodrigo, or maybe Olivia Rodrigo is our, I think Olivia Rodrigo is actually our reading a different book, because we do also have some that repeat. I'm sorry, but Sabrina Carpenter's Manchild is too relatable to just have a recommendation. So we're doing a recommendation and also a book based on it. So I hope you guys enjoy. We'll go ahead and get into the recommendations first, and then we'll jump into my planned TBR for the week because I do have 4 books on it, which is, now that I'm looking at it, a little intense. But I'm excited. I think I can read 4 books in 1 week. So we'll get into the recommendations like I said. So speaking of Manchild by Sabrina Carpenter, for that one I would recommend reading By a Thread. I actually bedazzled my copy literally less than a week ago. A couple of days ago, my friend was hosting a bedazzling event at her work. So I went and bedazzled my copy of By a Thread by Miss Lucy Score. As much as I did enjoy this book and was having a great time, the thing that made it great was the main character and her friends and the side characters. The man was a certified man child. He was 40, still hanging out with his mom, having his mom do stuff for him, and he had daddy issues. And if that's not man child material, I don't know what is. So if you like Man Child by Sabrina Carpenter and dream of every man child you know finally growing up, read By a Thread by Lucy Score. Being on theme with my sweatshirt that I'm wearing today, if you enjoy Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift, I recommend reading The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I feel like this one does a really good job of a relationship and having that tension and being you're not that good for me, but let's see where this goes. And I feel like that is the vibe that Cruel Summer kind of brings. And also, these characters go through a lot of growth and development and change in this book that makes them actually a good match and makes them well suited for each other. And I think that that is also kind of the vibe of Cruel Summer, is maturing and realizing what is good for you. So if you like Cruel Summer, read The Unhoneymooners. This next one is a little like a cop-out, I feel like. It's kind of basic and generic. But if you like The Last Great American Dynasty by Taylor Swift, I think you would really enjoy The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So in The Last Great American Dynasty, we're following our main character who kind of sets off on her life on the coast. She's sick and tired of her life where she's from, so she decides to go away and ends up falling in love, and kind of drama ensues. And that's exactly what happens with Evelyn Hugo in this book. She is divulging her entire life story to a reporter and basically explaining what has happened to her and how she ended up having 7 husbands. So I feel like that is a very similar vibe. It also has that kind of old Hollywood charm, because The Last Great American Dynasty is about Taylor Swift's house, her summer house that she had bought after, I guess it sat empty for 50 years. I don't know the whole story, but I do know that it was vacated well before she got there. It had been sitting empty on the beach for a while. So this kind of gives that same old Hollywood charm of what life was like in Hollywood in that glamour decades ago. Okay, my next recommendation is for the song Guilty as Sin from the Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift. And for that one, I would recommend A Fate of Wrath and Flame. So in this book, we are following our main character who is transported to a completely different world. and she's expected to kind of like be this like princess who's in exile for attempting to kill the king and queen. And she originally was supposed to be marrying the prince of this kingdom that she killed his parents. And so in this book, we are following this character who is not supposed to be falling in love with the prince that does not want to marry her anymore, but she's here doing it anyway. And they kind of come together to solve the mystery of why she's there, why the original princess, who she's pretending to be, actually did kill these people, and seeing, like what is actually up in this grand scheme. This is the first book in a book of 4. So I think that this first book emulates Guilty Sin a lot more than the sequel. I haven't read the third and fourth book, but the sequel does take a bit of a turn and a different direction and does not quite match the vibes of this one yet. But I still think this book, as like in its entirety, does really fit well with Guilty as Sin. Our next recommendation is for Lavender Haze by Taylor Swift. And for that one, I recommend The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I think a lot of Ali Hazelwood's books fit into that. And I also can see a lot of like fake dating fitting into the themes of Lavender Haze. But this one is a fake dating romance where we are following Olive and a professor at her university who decide to enter a fake dating relationship. So that way she can convince her friend that she's over a boy and he can continue to get his like research fellowship grant money to do the research he wants to do. So I recommend this one if you like Lavender Haze. Our next recommendation is for the song Slut, which is a vault track off of 1989. And for that one, I recommend Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Another Ali Hazelwood one. I feel like, I don't think she does this intentionally because I don't think she's a Swiftie, but I feel like a lot of her books are like Taylor Swift coded. I feel like I get the vibes. But so in Deep End, we are following our main character who is a college level diver, and she ends up entering a like no strings attached, kind of like BDSM-ish relationship with a swimmer on her college swim team. So we're following them through this and kind of the repercussions of their decision to enter this kind of no strings attached relationship, which is why I feel like it is very like reminiscent and a good pick for that vault track in particular, because I feel like we are kind of dealing with a girl saying like, screw it, they're going to say stuff about me anyway, like I'm just going to do it. And that's very much the vibes that this book has. If you know anything about me, you know that Down Bad is by far my absolute favorite song ever in this whole entire world. So for that one, we had to pick 2 books. And even though that song is technically a metaphor using alien abduction to compare it to like being love bombed, these ones are not as like love bomby as they could be. They are just how like the characters are so down bad for each other, and like they are, how do I say this? They're like obsessed with each other in like a good way instead of being obsessed with each other in a bad way. So the first one is A Thousand Pieces of You. This one is by Claudia Gray. I read this one, I believe, last winter-ish. And in this one, we are following our main character who's the daughter of scientists. And so she's always been around like their scientist like experiments, always been around their projects, always been around their students. And so now that she's a little bit older, she's closer in age to those students. And one of those students unalives, I believe it's her dad. Yes. So when her dad is unalived and one of those students decides to start skipping universes using an invention that her parents had made, she decides she's going to track him down, and she tracks him down with the help of another student. And so this is kind of like It's You in Every Lifetime, but like make it intense and sci-fi and like wild and crazy. And so this one is very much giving Down Bad. And it goes both ways. I feel like she is equally as down bad for him as he is down bad for her. And then also to kind of go off of being down bad for someone, we will go with Lukov with Love. I read this one in December of last year. Absolutely loved it. Anything Mariana Zapata writes, I also feel like is very down bad. I think that all of her male main characters are obsessed with her FMCs like in a very good, healthy way of like they notice those small details, they know those little things, they like are very in tune with the FMCs. And I think that that is something that happens when you spend so much of your time paying attention to someone and being that down bad for them. So I feel like these are 2 good representations of that song, but make it like cute and romantic instead of like toxic and bad. The next song recommendation I have is for the song Father Figure off of The Life of a Showgirl by Taylor Swift. And for that one, I recommend A Study in Drowning. This one is about a girl who's going to college, and at her college, in her world, like writing is not for women. Like women just don't write. So she wants to be an author. She wants to be a writer. She thinks that would be amazing. She thinks that'd be so cool, but that's not something she can do. Like they're just not allowed to pursue it. So she ends up going into architecture, where she gets the opportunity to go to her favorite author's mansion and like redesign his mansion and like help kind of like spruce it up as it's falling apart. And so she's partnered with a writing student who's also supposed to be like following this author around. And she loves this author. Like I said, it's her favorite author. And she decides that she's going to learn as much about him being an author as she can. But then she finds out that the student who's following this author is actually trying to prove that this author did not write any of his work. Like he's trying to discredit this author and take away all of his accolades. So this one is very much father figure vibes. I also think the very ending is very father figure coded, even though it came out well before Father Figure, the song came out. We have 2 more recommendations to get through, and then I will kind of be done yapping. So for the song Hits Different, which we know is a breakup song, so don't like come for me for this one. But that one I would pick for Butcher and Blackbird, since there is that scene kind of close to the end of the book where we have our kind of third act conflict. I feel like Down Bad kind of encapsulates how our characters feel when that conflict happens. Like they are so like distraught, like they are so like it just hits different. It's different because it's them. So if you like Hits Different, I think you would really like Butcher and Blackbird. And then our last pick is King of Envy for the song So It Goes from Reputation by Taylor Swift. I feel like this one, we are following our male main character who's best friends with a guy who's marrying this like famous model. And she's really only marrying him to get money to get out of her contract, but no one knows about it. So it's really a marriage of convenience situation that neither one of them wants to be in. This best friend realizes that it is kind of a marriage of convenience kind of like situation, and he decides that he's going to step in and kind of help this FMC out, and that's kind of how their relationship goes about. It is a pretty beefy book, and So It Goes is a little bit of a stretch for them, but there is a particular scene in this book where I feel like So It Goes played in my head. Like it just made sense. So that's why I recommend King of Envy for So It Goes. So now we're going to be getting into the books I'm going to be reading for the reading part of this vlog. Now that we've gotten through our recommendations. So I have 4 books that I'm hoping to tackle in this video. I already know that that's really, really ambitious, but we'll go ahead and go over them super quick and then decide which one to start with. I think I know which one I want to start with, but I also feel like I don't know what I want to read right now. I'm in a mood where I kind of want fantasy, but I'm also not sure if I like have the mental capacity for world building. So we'll see. I will start one of the fantasies, I think, but who knows? We'll see. Okay, so getting into the books that I'll be reading in this video, our first one is Long Live Evil. I picked this one as a book recommendation for All American Bitch by Olivia Rodrigo. Like I said, I could only find like one of her songs that really felt like it fit any books like at all. In this one, we are following our FMC whose life is like not going super well. Her name's Ray. She loves to read. She loves video games, but like she's not having the greatest time right now. Like she's just like in poor health. I think she's having troubles at her job. Like I think she's getting fired or something. But she really relies on these books and video games to kind of like help her escape like how bad her reality is with like her health issues and her family situation, all these things. And so she ends up waking up in her favorite, I believe it's her favorite video game. Basically, she wakes up in one of her favorite characters' like worlds, and she's the villain. She thinks she should be the main character, but she's the villain. So she decides she's leaning into that. She's going to enact these fantasies that she's not able to kind of, have happen in her real life. She's going to be that badass that she wants to be. And I feel like that's very All American Bitch coded of like, I'm going to do the bad thing. I don't care. Like, I think that that is how this book is going to play out. I'm very hopeful it's how it's going to play out, but it is kind of a chunkier book. I believe we're at like 420. Yes. There's also a book too. I thought this was a standalone. But 423 is the number of pages we're at for this one. So don't know why I thought I could read it and 3 other books in 1 week, but beside the point. Our next book that we're hoping to tackle based on a song recommendation is based on my favorite song, Down Bad. So we're going with Heated Rivalry. I've wanted to read this one so bad since I got my hands on it last month. And I think that now is going to be as good a time as ever. And I also think that this is going to fit with Down Bad because I know that our main characters, Shane and Ilya, from what I've seen of the show, kind of have this like undeniable pull with each other where like they should not know as much about the other as they do. They should not care as much about the other as they do. And they still find themselves in this situation of like constantly being asked about each other. They're like each other's exact rival. So they are like constantly in each other's orbit. And I think that that is very down bad coded. So I'm very excited to read this one. Our next read for this video is based on Manchild by Sabrina Carpenter, and that one is going to be The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. All I really know about this one is that it is Hermione fanfic, but the guy in it is giving very much Manchild. Like, he won't do anything on his own. He constantly needs our FMC to like come be doing stuff for him. So I'm very much hoping that this still continues to fit that vibe and that theme once I actually start reading it, because I do think that's a little bit funny to see the man-child have to kind of grow up and take responsibility for his actions and actually like show up for his FMC. So hopefully that's what happens. And then our very last book that I'm hoping to complete in this video is Here for the Wrong Reasons. This one is by Annabelle Paulson and Lydia Wang. And I got this one as part of my birthday haul. I got this from Half Price Books, I believe. And I'm hoping to read this one in place for the song Slut by Taylor Swift. Another one where I'm like, makes perfect sense. But these are two girls who are entering a dating competition show, very similar to The Bachelor. One of them is there to actually find love, but the other one is there just to kind of gain clout. And she's hoping to use this to launch like her streamer influencer kind of career. And so I think this one will be a good fit for that song as well, but we shall see. I think I'm going to be starting off with The Irresistible Urge to Fall for My Enemy. I don't know how much world building is going to be in this. Like I said, I'm not in the mood for a ton of world building right now, but I do have the audiobook, so I think I'm just going to immersive read it and see like how far we go, see how like long it takes me to get into. It's also not super thick for a fantasy. I think there are other fantasies like 420 pages. I'm pretty sure this one's only like 300. Okay, 360. So not as short as I thought that it was, but it still doesn't look super thick. So I'm hopeful to finish this maybe today or tomorrow. Since I'm doing immersive reading, it's probably going to take me like 5 or 6 hours to finish it. And then we'll kind of go from there. But I will check in with you when there's updates to check in about. See you guys soon. Bye. We're doing a check-in for The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. I'm about a third of the way through. You can't really see because my bookmark's like a giant bow. But yeah, like a third. So these chapters are super, super huge, beefy boys. I sat down the first night thinking, oh, okay, I'll read like 50 pages. I read like a singular chapter and it was like 30 pages. And I learned so much. The world building in this is easy but difficult. So to kind of summarize, there are different like groups, and our main character, what is our main character's name? Arian. Arian is with the healing group, and so they are trying to cure this like pox that affects like children. And so a lot of her work is about like healing these kids and doing research on these kids. But Ostrich is with the like bad, scary, like assassin group. And so his job is literally like assassinating people and like killing people. And so she has a really hard time like agreeing to like help him heal because he doesn't have the like weird pox disease that she's been like treating. He has like Saith rot, I think is what they've been calling it, and it's basically like his magic. So the magic system in this is you have like a seal kind of thing on your hand, and like that's what like connects you to your little like group, your little faction. And then like in your body, like along with your like nervous system, is these channels for the magic to go through. Does that make sense? I also feel like I'm doing this really, really quickly. I'm taking like a lunch break before I go to an appointment, and I have like 10 minutes to like film this whole thing. So I think I'm just like trying to like vomit like all of the words, you guys. I hope that made sense. But that's what's happening so far. So she has tried holistic magic in the past, like when she was like going to school, she tried holistic magic and like really struggled with it, like couldn't keep up. Like it's not like a widely practiced thing. It's kind of one of those things that like it exists, but they kind of laugh it off and like act like it's not serious. And so she decides like, okay, I'm actually not going to do it anymore. But that's how Ostrich finds out about her, is because he thinks that that is what's going to fix his like channels. And like they got all messed up because he has an injury. Like he got hurt like sword fighting another assassin guy. Like they were like practice fighting. He just got hurt really bad. And so he kind of like blackmails her a little bit into helping him, is how they like end up in this little situation. Like she's over here like, yeah, if you donate money to like help the kids with the pox, like I'll do it. Like thinking he won't, and then he does. He does donate the money. So now her college, her hospital, wherever she is, has like the money and the resources to do like a different treatment with these kids. And so now they're like meeting up by like secret. Another thing that's happening in this book that I actually really like and really enjoy is that each of them have their own little like animal companion kind of thing. It's not like a real animal though. So like the seal that they have in their palms like projects like a little guy. And so like hers is, I forget what the animal's called, but it's kind of like a weird little fox wolf cat thing. And then someone had, I think it was like a turtle or something. Or no, it was an axolotl. Someone had an axolotl as their little companion person that like goes and like it basically just like sends messages to like other people, but like it's its own like character. So like you tell it like, oh hey, yeah, go tell them I'm running late for tea. And then it would go and be like, you know how she is. She's always late for tea. Does that make sense? I hope this is making sense. I'm going to watch this back and it's probably going to look like just complete word vomit, like I said. Try and do this quickly. But that's where we're at. I believe I have 3 hours left on the audiobook, so I'm going to try to finish it tonight. It's Tuesday now. I put in a clip of me reading Monday night because I started Sunday and I only read 1 chapter. And then I read, I think, 3 or 4 chapters on Monday. And then now here we are on Tuesday and I have like a good chunk of the book to go. And I'm just going to try to knock it out tonight. I think I can. The only other thing that is like throwing me off just a little bit is that it's not only third person, but you know how sometimes a book will be written in third person and it's like very obviously third person, like you feel that it's third person. I feel that this one is third person. And I also keep forgetting what their actual names are, because even though her name's Arian and his is Ostrich, they call each other their last names. So like whenever you're in her, because it also is technically dual point of view, you're in her head, but it's third person of what like she's thinking. And then you'll go to like his point of view and it'll be in his brain, but third person. Does that make sense? So she calls him Mordaunt is his last name. And he's part of the Firen. That's what his little like faction group is called. And then she's part of the Halen, and they're like the ones that like help people. But he calls her Farim because that's her last name. So like that's why it's like kind of difficult. Because at first I was like, who are they talking about? And that's when I remembered, oh wait, that's her last name. So yeah, they call each other their last names like in their head instead of calling them their first names. So when it's her point of view, she's using her first name to describe herself and his last name to describe him. And when it's his point of view, he's using his last name to, or his first name to describe himself and her last name to describe her. So yeah, it's getting like a little like wild and convoluted, but so far they've tried, I think 2 or 3 different like things to try to like heal him and like fix him, and they're not really having luck. Oh, I should probably tell you guys how it fits with man-child. It does. Like it just does. Like this guy is so like childish and so immature and just so like he's like a little kid. Like literally they were like in like a little like battle of like who's the dumbest, ugliest, stupidest. Like it was like very, very childish. And like he makes like funny remarks in his own point of view. Like he literally like talks about his, I think it's his cleft chin being like the cleftiest or something. Let me find it. I love how I was like, I'm going to be so fast and doing this so quick because I don't have very much time. And now here I am. Yes, his cleft chin clefted majestically. Like that's the kind of stuff this guy says in his own point of view. And like they just have like the funniest little witty banter. Let me see if I can find from the chapter I just read. There was a couple of really cute, funny ones. Oh yeah. So Arian calls him a menace to society. He calls her a self-righteous plague, and then she calls him a foppish crouton. I thought that was super funny. So yeah, they just have that like kind of funny little banter with each other. And then like because she doesn't want anyone knowing she's helping this guy, she literally has him like meet her at like the weirdest, most random places, and one of them ends up being like a butt doctor, and that was super funny. But yeah, that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. I believe it has been like almost exactly 10 minutes of me just yapping this word vomit to you guys. So I appreciate you guys coming along. I am going to finish this one tonight and I will let you guys know what I think because I'm really liking it so far, even though it's just the taddest bit confusing. And I wish it just had been written either in first person or if it was third person, they didn't like switch up their names like that. That's kind of awkward to me, but I'm enjoying it overall. So I will check in with you guys when there's another update on this. Bye. Last time we talked, it was Tuesday, and I had just gotten to the like 1/3 way through the irresistible urge to fall for your enemy. Well, we have finished her, and I absolutely loved it. 5 stars. Had such a good time. The banter was bantering. They were witty. This definitely embodied man child. I feel like our MMC Ostrich was definitely the embodiment of being a man child. He did not want to admit that he had feelings for our FMC, and they were just super cute and super fun together. I absolutely loved their banter. They were both super smart and like witty in their own different way. And so there was tons of banter going on in this book. And I also loved how like the further into the story we got, we were seeing more and more of them. Like their first couple interactions are like all we see. So like there'll be like a month going by and they're not seeing each other. And so we only will see when they see each other. And like towards the end of the book, I would say the last third is like they're together like the whole time instead of just like going like a month without seeing each other. They're seeing each other significantly more, which I really enjoyed. I really liked it. Again, 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. I'm so excited that this is a duology. So like the next part we're gonna get later this year and the story's done. Like I'm sad that the story's done because I would love to follow these characters anywhere. But I'm also very excited that it's going to be done because that means that like we're a series down. Like I don't have to worry about, adding like a 10-book series to my TBR anymore. So knowing that this is a duology and also knowing the turn that it takes, like originally we're just following Arian and Ostrich as Ostrich is like having his rot healed by Arian, but there's like a whole other like thing that's happening that's like underlying that we get into in the last half of this book. So even though it starts off like just being involved with them and being very surface level, it ends up getting like a lot deeper and a lot more complicated and going into a lot more world building and how their like society is set up. And I really enjoyed that. So absolutely love it. Definitely recommend. So since we finished that one last night, it is Wednesday afternoon, evening ish time right now. I wanted to pop on and let you guys know that I'm going to start Heated Rivalry tonight. I'm very, very hopeful that I can finish this one in a day. Like, we shall see if that ends up happening. But I'm very, very hopeful that we can get this one knocked out this afternoon, evening. I believe the audiobook, once I listen to it at like 2.5 speed, is only going to be like 3.5 hours. So I'm pretty sure that I can finish this one in an afternoon if I feel so compelled. So I think that this one will be our next read, and I will keep you guys posted as we go along with this one. I don't know a ton about this one going on. Everything I know about this book going in, I only know because of the show, not the books. So I'm sure that there are things that like are different between the show and the book. Like I know that this one is the second book in the series, so I'm already like starting off out of order, which I absolutely hate doing. But I know that in this one we are following two like hockey players who like for their entire careers have been like their number one rival. And like that's part of why it's called Heated Rivalries, because like they're each other's number one rival. So let me see if I can read the back of this and like get more information. I don't think I can. Yeah. Like I said, this literally is just they're rivals. They've been rivals like their whole career, but they're secretly into each other. So I think that's super cute. I think this one is my one for down bad. So I think this is going to embody that for sure. So I'm very excited to pick this one up later today, and I'll keep you guys posted. I will let you know when there's an update to be had. Fingers crossed tomorrow, because tomorrow will be Thursday. I have book club tomorrow, so I might be bringing you guys along with me for book club. We shall see how I'm feeling, what the vibes are. But yes, the goal is to finish this tonight. I think I can finish this tonight, but we shall see. So I will see you guys in the next clip. Bye. Okay, so update time. It is Thursday. It is 5 o'clock. So I did finish Heated Rivalry last night, stayed up a little too late reading it, but had a pretty good time. I understand why they are like the focus of the show. Like, I'm not upset that they are like the leads of the show. I personally just would have liked there to be more. Like, I feel like this book was like 90% smut. The other 10% was a way to feed us other characters in the series. Like, it felt like the only times our leads were on page was when they were like having sex, which like maybe this is my own like fault. Is like I heard the title Heated Rivalry. I thought, oh, like they're hockey rivals. We'll get them like on the ice shit talking. We'll get them at, like press conferences or interviews or like maybe an awards thing. They have a scene at an awards like dinner, but like it's very brief. It's also not even them like fighting, really. Like Ilya is just taking a moment on a balcony that's like a private space. Shane goes to find him and then they kiss. But like they don't really talk, they don't really interact a ton. They also aren't even rivals for that long. Like the book is divided into 4 parts, and part 1 is supposed to be them kind of like meeting for the first time and like becoming kind of rivals. But like they meet one time and Shane is like, this man's it. Like, I'm super into him. Which like I get it. Like sometimes that happens. But it also was like, okay, but like you exchanged 2 sentences. I don't see it. Like I just wasn't picking up what they were putting down because there wasn't anything to put down. Like they weren't putting anything down. Does that make sense? And then I also was not a super huge fan of how like Shane's whole storyline is kind of him like coming to terms with his identity. Like Ilya is very comfortable in his sexuality. He knows he's bisexual, like he's attracted to both men and women. And this is the first time Shane has ever experienced attraction to a man, but he's been convinced his whole life that he's straight. And so then he like keeps telling himself, "Oh, I'm just bi. I'm just bi. I'm just bi." And then he has a moment of realization of like, "Oh, I actually don't like having sex with women at all. Like I'm not into women at all." And so he like tells Ilya like, "Oh yeah, I'm gay." And then Ilya makes like a joke about it and doesn't let him finish like the serious part. And I was like, that was a little cringy. Like, I guess I get it. Like, it would have been funny if he like made the joke and then let Shane continue like pouring his heart out. Because Shane also tells him like, I can't come out to my family and I can't come out to anyone else in my life. Like, you're the only person I can tell because you're the only person I know who knows I like boys. Period. So like, it would be really weird if I like start telling everyone in my life, like all of a sudden. So he kind of like eases into it with Ilya, and Ilya just like can't take it seriously. So I felt a little bad. I was like, oh, baby Shane, like he's trying to come out and like Ilya's not really letting him. I was like, I don't know. I just was not a fan. And then I also did not love that, like, even though this is a standalone and there are more books in the series following Shane and Ilya, I didn't love that you're kind of expected to finish the rest of the series before getting to them. I think they're the last 2 books in the series. So it's kind of like, okay, so like now I should pick up the next one, which we're introduced to the characters in the first book in the series and the 3rd book in the series, which is why I'm like, this is literally just like a dumping ground for all the other characters we're going to get to meet. We like don't actually have character development with Shane or with Ilya. we are just getting to meet other people who are going to be important for the series. And I'm not a huge fan of that. Like, I like when there's nods to the characters in the other series. Like, that was totally fine. But I also was waiting for there to be like character growth with these two, and I just don't think there really was. The casting is spot on for the show. I haven't watched the show, but I know which actors play Shane and Ilya, and I do think that the casting was amazing. Like, I couldn't imagine any other actors playing these two. So I'm very excited to watch the show now and see like if they maybe like flesh some stuff out, if they maybe, you know, like fix some minor things I didn't love. I imagine if it's on, you know, television, it's not just porn. Like there has to be dialogue in a TV show, right? So I'm hoping that fixes my qualms with the book. I just feel like I wanted a relationship to form between them, and we didn't really get one, like at all, which was very interesting. So I ended up picking up our next book that we're reading, which is Long Live Evil. This one is following our main character, Ray, who has like a terminal illness. She's really sick. And so she ends up getting transported into like her favorite book. I'm only one chapter in, so 16 pages, not very much in, like at all. But so far, I'm having a really good time. I did not realize, I for some reason thought that she like just woke up and was in her fantasy world. Someone comes to her like in the hospital, like she's like in a hospital bed, she's dying, and like someone comes to her and is like, "Hey, like, do you want to go to the world where your favorite book is set?" And she's like, yeah, duh, like of course, but I can't. And so then that person kind of like says some riddle about like, are things real if we believe in them? Like that kind of thing. And like talks her into like stepping out of her hospital room and like going into the hallway and then being transported into this book. And she's going to make her the character that she's the most like, which is the evil queen, which I knew going into it, like that was the character that she becomes. So I'm very excited to see kind of how that goes, how that works. But I think I'm making good progress. So I will take it. I'm enjoying it so far. The only thing that I am going to say is I actually picked, I think, all third person writing in all of these books. The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, third person. Heated Rivalry is in third person. Like, what the fuck? This one, also third person. Like, I have not had a first person POV book all month. It's driving me bonkers. I absolutely hate it. I'm not having a great time. But we shall see. I will keep you guys updated. I will let you know as soon as I finish this. I'm not planning on taking my camera to book club. So I will let you guys know as soon as I finish this what we think. I might give you like a mid check-in update if I'm not finishing it by like Saturday. I think I'll give myself until Saturday morning to see if we end up fitting that fourth book in here. Because if I'm only making it like halfway through by Saturday, I'm not gonna try to finish this book and another book in like a day. Like that's not happening. So we'll see how far I make it, and we will check in, I guess, when there are updates. It's been a minute since I've checked in. I think my last check-in was Thursday. Yes, right before I was gonna go to book club, I was reading Long Live Evil, and I'm still reading Long Live Evil. Friday, I didn't read much. Saturday, I didn't read much either. But it is currently Sunday, and the point of this was to go from Sunday to Sunday to do a full week. So unfortunately, we didn't finish quite as much as we had hoped. So we did not get to For the Wrong Reasons in this vlog. That's totally okay. This is kind of like my lovely fourth alternate of like, oh, if I read like all of these books immersive reading, I'm going to finish them in like a day or two. And then there was only one book that I finished in a day and I didn't like it. This is fine. Everything's fine. But this is the only one that we did not get to, but it was still on the monthly TBR. So I'm going to try and read this before the month is over. I mean, it's only the 8th. Like, we read 3 books, 2.5. We read 2.5 books in like a week. And I'm still going to count that as a win because I feel like at my peak when I was reading the most, I was getting in 3 books a week. And I then went a little slumpy and was barely doing 1 a week. So getting in, 2.5 books in a week, a win. A win is a win. I will take it. So let's go over the books that we did end up reading. Because we start off this week really, really strong. We went in hard with The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. This one was inspired by Man-Child by Sabrina Carpenter. And I feel like this book just fully embodied it. Like, this is exactly what I wanted this book to be. It was like super rom-com-y. Like, there was banter. There was like that like pining that, you know, like want for each other when they shouldn't. They were very obviously enemies for like very valid reasons. And it didn't feel super like fanficky. Like it was very obviously fanfic and you could see some of the parallels and the inspirations, but it wasn't like glaringly obvious. And I thought that it was done really, really well. I gave this one 5 stars. So did absolutely enjoy this one. Super excited for the sequel later this year. The next book that we finished was Heated Rivalry. This one's by Rachel Reed, and this one was supposed to be our inspiration of Down Bad by Taylor Swift. And I was really hoping to get more of that angst, that pining, that yearning, all of the things, whereas it felt like it was just a bunch of smut and like a device to introduce more people that will make appearances in later books in the series. So I was not a super huge fan of this one. I believe I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, 4.5, which in theory I should kind of knock down because I did not like it 4.5 stars. I should probably make it 4 because I did not absolutely love it as much as I really wanted to, but I did read it quickly. I will give it that. I did finish this one in like a single night. So pretty impressive. And then our final book is the one that I've given you like the least updates on. So Long Live Evil, we are following our main character, Ray, who is like slowly dying of cancer. She's like terminally ill and in the hospital when we meet her in the very first chapter. But she's approached by this woman who's like, hey, like if I take you to like a magical place, like do you want to like have the chance to like save yourself? She says it a lot more like poetically than that, but I'm ad-libbing here. So Ray decides, like, yeah, I want to go to this kingdom that is like her favorite book series, the setting of her favorite book series. And so she gets in there and she is like cast as the like main villainess. She's like the bad girl. And so this book was supposed to be our kind of like read that is inspired by All American Bitch. And I feel like that is super, super fitting. So as the story progresses, we are finding out things about Ray. She was a cheerleader. She's from Oklahoma. Like all of her friends and her family, even like her dad divorces her mom and like marries a new woman and has like a whole nother family in the 3 years that Ray has been on her cancer journey. And Ray's friends all like ditched her. Her boyfriend broke up with her to date her best friend. So like Ray has really truly been having like the worst time at it. And the only person who's really been in her corner besides, you know, the books that she gets to read is her sister. And in the storybook that she loves so much, the evil villainess is actually stepsisters with our like main princess kind of character. And so Ray is kind of trying to not really like help their sisterly relationship because she doesn't really want to like stay in this kind of thing. She doesn't want to keep being the villainess. She wants to get what she needs to retrieve and then go back to her life. But she also has this like kind of like desire of like, oh, well, like if I was, you know, myself and this girl is like the Alice of the world, that's her sister is Alice. If this girl is like the Alice of the world, like I do want her to have a good life. Like I don't want her to suffer the way that this main character, Princess, has to go through like trials and tribulations to like get her ending. Because it's not even like a super happy ending. Like this book series that Ray loves so much kind of convoluted and kind of wild and honestly doesn't seem to have the happiest ending, like period. So basically she is, you know, like currently at the castle where this like king who's going to become the emperor, like they know this because she's read the books. So Ray knows that he's going to become this like fated emperor that all the prophecies, you know, like rant and rave about, and he's going to save them from this like cavernous abyss of where all like the dead souls go. And so she like knows that's how the book ends, but like he's kind of the only one who gets even like a remotely happy story arc. Like the princess, I believe, like marries him and becomes queen, but like all this like crazy stuff happens, and then there's this like fated the last hope guy who is like in a love triangle with the empress and the princess. It's like a whole bunch of like convoluted stuff. And so she like knows how the book is supposed to be ending, but she's slowly but surely seeing things happening in the wrong order. And because she's here and like not dead, because the villainess is supposed to die like early in the series, and she like gets herself out of being killed. So she like is still around. So she's uncovering these characters that aren't major characters at all in the books. But like she starts talking to her guard, and like he's not a major character whatsoever in the books that she's read, but in talking to him, he becomes a major player in what she's doing. Because she's still leaning into like fully being the villain. Like, she literally does not care who in this book world dies because in her mind, they're all just people in a book. So it doesn't matter. They're in a book. It's not real. To the people in the book, it's real. But to Ray, she's like, I'm going to leave here. I'm going to go back to my normal world, and you guys are going to continue to be on paper. So she's slowly but surely changing the story little by little and not really thinking about it. Like, she realizes, like, oh, that's a little bit different. Like, they get attacked by some of the undead. And she was like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen until like way later. And so when they ask her, like, oh, I thought you like saw the future. Why did you not know that we were going to get attacked? Just to like play it up and be like, oh, I saw the attack, but I thought it was going to be like later. I thought it was going to be after this ball. So then she gets uninvited to the ball, which is like part of when she's supposed to be hatching her like evil plan. And that's kind of as far as I've made it in this book. So I believe I have like 3 or so hours left in the audiobook. I might be able to finish it after I finish editing this video, but I wanted to record at least my outro to let you guys know I didn't die. But also that I didn't finish all the books I wanted to finish. That's okay. So that's where we're at with this one. So far, leaning towards 4.5 stars. I'm definitely having more fun with this than a lot of other romanticies that I've read that have a like seemingly unique premise, but end up like plateauing out. So I'm having a really good time, but that will be the end of this video. You'll see my official reviews and thoughts in the end of the month. Like when I finish the book, I will give it a rating in that video. But that is all I have for now. So if you made it to the end of the video, go ahead and leave the musical notes emoji for music, since we did music-based books. I will go ahead and see you guys in the next one. Bye! Hi, hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Oh, okay, Bixby doesn't want to be in it anymore. That's pretty cute. Okay. Also, my necklace is choking me. So our next recommendation, and I also think the very ending, whose car alarm is going off? So now we're getting into the books I'm going to be reading. I'm going to put my arm down. So now we're going to be getting into, that was funny. Like, I'm in kind of a mood where I want fantasy. I'm going to put my arm back down again. Oh my God, I'm struggling. Oh, a pronunciation guide. I love that. Oh my God, and pictures about the magic. Hi. Why did I act surprised like you were here? That was weird. Like you're getting in like her head, but it's third person. That was weird. His cleft chin clefted majestically. I just had a stroke. Last time we checked in, it was Tuesday. I had just... Whoop. You okay? Big sneeze. Okay. It was Tuesday, and I had just... There we go. Okay, last time we talked, it was Tuesday. I started that sentence 18 times. I did finish Heated Rivalries. I had a stroke. I did finish Heated Rivalries it's singular. It's Heated Rivalry. Okay. So I ended up picking up our next book. I'm going to talk to the camera instead of looking down. I also think my light's a little too bright. What is my hair doing? So unfortunately we didn't finish. Where's my bookmark? Oh. Hello? Someone honked their horn. That was scary.